Now, I believe that you've also had quite a high level of involvement in USA hockey, both playing and administrating.
That's correct. Yes. After playing, uh, after I retired, or I was forced to retire, through injury in 1983, I got involved in the administration of the sport. I served on the board of the U.S. Field Hockey Association. And as a board member, I was appointed as the director of high performance in charge of the USA men's team, and held that position for 4 years and worked closely with the coach, the national coach at that time, and the various senior and junior teams. Yeah, while I was a representative of the board, I was also appointed to represent the sport of field hockey on the U.S. Olympic Committee's board of directors. So, yeah.
Yes, so you were involved in the Atlanta Games in 1994.
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
The field hockey tournament. Tell us a bit about that. That sounds fascinating.
Well, through my involvement with the USA Field Hockey and the U.S. Olympic Committee, I was approached by some of the members of the USA delegation of the FIH, the International Hockey Federation, to consider becoming what the position was, competition manager for the Atlanta Olympics. So I interviewed for the position, and I was fortunate enough to get the position, and that resulted in my relocation from New York in 1994 to Atlanta. And I worked for the Atlanta Organizing Committee from 94 till the games ended in August of 96. Yeah, so for 2 years, actually it was more like 2.5 years, I worked in the world of hockey, just planning and organizing the Olympic hockey competition.
Yes, so the 96 Olympic Games, you were the competition manager.
Correct.
What is that? What is a competition manager?
As the competition manager, you're responsible for all facets of the competition itself. And when I say the competition, not only the games that take place during the 16 days of competition, but everything leading up to the games, from the building of 2 hockey stadia for the games, the building of the fields. So for 2 years, we were constructing the stadia, the 2 of them. We had 2. We had to work closely with the International Hockey Federation to be sure everything, all of our plans were in compliance with their rules and regulations for Olympic competition level. Closely with the USA Hockey Association, because in some respects, even though I didn't directly represent them, as the host nation, we had to work closely with them as well. What involved in-depth planning for, let's say, transportation. We have to arrange competition to get the teams back and forth to their training sessions, pre-competition training sessions, get them to all the matches on time. We had to arrange the competition schedule. We have to plan the volunteers that would be at the venue during the 16 days. Well, actually, it was more like 3 weeks. The volunteers had to be at the venue because we had to get the venue up and running. We had to work with the press to make sure we had the press booth set up, because we had the international press coming in from all over the world. And we had to have the press room set up. We had to work very closely with IBM, because IBM I was the official results coordinator for the game. So we had to design specific software to capture the results, the match results for each game. And then these match results had to be sent around the world. We had to work with the broadcast company, NBC, I believe, had the broadcast rights to the game. So we had to work very closely with the broadcast to make sure that we had the matches televised properly. So as a competition manager, I was involved with every aspect of the game. I had to work with the medical staff to be sure that the venue was staffed properly with all the necessary medical facilities. I had to work with the dope testing people to be sure that the dope center was properly staffed and properly outfitted. So, so yeah.
So basically, what you're saying is that without the New York Islanders, the 1996 Olympic hockey tournament wouldn't have happened.
I guess not, because that's where I got all my training. You know, both as a player and as an administrator. You know, that's I got my foundation with the Islanders. So all of my experience, that's where it all started. And actually, it started in my house because the Islanders, the first ever meeting of the Islanders was held in my living room. So that's where it all started. Yeah, yeah.
Back in September of 1977.
1977, September of 1977. Yep. Yep.
And nearly 20 years later, you're running the hockey tournament.
The Olympic competition, and yeah, that was an experience. And prior to the actual competition itself, I had the opportunity to visit a number of major international competitions, starting with the World Cups 2 years out, World Cups in Sydney, Australia, the World Cups, the Women's World Cup in Ireland, major World Cup qualifiers in Barcelona, Spain, because I went there as an observer to work with their organizing committee to see what they were doing behind the scenes so that I can get a first-hand view or a bird's eye view of what was happening, you know, while the game was going on, what was happening downstairs in the offices, things like that.
What did you learn from that experience? What did you?
I got to know all the key players. Let's say, when I say players, not the actual hockey players, but the key decision makers within the International Hockey Federation. You know, the president of the FIH, the executive director of the FIH. I had to work closely with them in coordinating all the different aspects of the game. I had to work closely with the technical delegate and the umpires manager, get their personal preferences, get to speak for them, see if there were any needs, special needs that I had to satisfy, things like that. So the personal relationships that I developed over the years, that played a key role in organizing and doing a good job. As a matter of fact, in a post-Olympics press conference, the then president of the FIH, Etienne Glitchich, says, I don't know about the other Olympic competitions, but I do know that the Atlanta Olympics was one of the best ever organized competitions. So I took great pride in what he had to say in the post Olympic competition press conference.